Hello, everyone. This is your man, MC Otto Berima, and welcome to another episode of YP Podcast. I hope everybody's doing good. School is good. Work is good. The wife is good. The hubby is good. The kids are good. And you're killing it out there. Yeah. We're still living it up here. And today we have a wonderful crew or panelists or conversationalists today I think I'm outnumbered. That is basically what it is, because we have Reho ladies. Interesting. Yeah. For some reason, ladies from Reho both are here, and we're gonna have a wonderful conversation. And today, we're gonna talk about validation. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe, comment, whatever you have, while listening. Make sure you rate us, give us some nice 5 stars, and share with your friends. Share, and also subscribe. All right, thank you guys. All right, today we are talking about validation. All right, so ladies, we're gonna start. So validation. The reason why we're talking about this is finding approval. Um, why do you think we have the incessant need to seek approval from other people? Why do you think innately we are wired to always look for others to approve us in all the things that we do? And when you're starting, you just mention your name for those who are listening, and then we'll know who you are. Okay.
Stephanie. And just to answer this question, I think it's more so an underlining insecurity issue. Sometimes, a lot of us really, even growing up, it's more so that we're not comfortable or confident in ourselves. That we, instead of us having our own mindset, having our own, making our own decisions with things, that we see to it that we need someone else to basically confirm what we're as God, as we are God's children in this discussion. Um, we've basically kind of lost our way because being in the flesh, we sometimes get forgetful of how much God has valued us and has made us His very own children. That we get confused with. We basically get confused with what He's already established in us, and we seek to others rather than seek to His word to be confident in ourselves. Yeah.
All right, I'll also add on. So, my name is also Stephanie. And I think when it comes to validation, it's something that everyone kind of grows up with. As a child, you probably grow up trying to please your mother or your father, do everything that you can to win their approval. When you go to school, that's also another thing. You're trying to win the approval of your teachers, trying to, I don't know, like when they're even giving out treats or best student in the class, you just find yourself naturally trying to win the approval of your teachers. Going into the workplace, you're trying to win the approval of your boss. So it's something that it's kind of almost become part of our nature. Like, just society growing up at home teaches you, I need to win the approval of someone, some type of authority, some type of person in my life. So yeah.
But it's a good thing, right? Would we agree that it's a good thing? Because I mean, it from what you're saying, that then it means that we have to be motivated in certain instances to get something done, right? Would we agree, or is there some truth to that?
This is Grace. I personally feel like validation definitely has its pros and cons. There is good validation, like how Deaconess Stephanie mentioned about getting validation through school or through your parents. At least that lets you know that you're on the right path. But when it becomes like an insecurity thing where you can't move without the validation of others, that's when it becomes an issue.
My name is Eunice. Similar to Grace, I do agree with the fact that validation can be both a negative and positive thing. And so as we navigate life itself, we have to be very intentional about who is validating you and why do you want that validation. And so as a child, they don't immediately come to the conclusion as to why they want that validation, but as we grow up and learn and navigate life itself, it's something that we have to be conscious of. Why do we want the validation and where is this stemming from?
What's the motive?
Yeah, what's the motive?
I once heard somebody say that there were three ways to die quickly, but I forgot the last one. But he said that number one, doing things to please people, right, and being worried about what people would think about you and what basically they will say about you from what you do. And I think there was another third point, but basically the point was if you are constantly looking for, okay, I'm doing this. What are people going to say? Okay, I'm posting this picture. How many people are going to like it? How have you seen that in your life? Was there a time that these things have been very, very, you know, obvious in your lives?
So I guess we're sharing stories of our experience of validation, well, of seeking validation, right?
Yeah, and you don't have stories?
I do, I guess. Okay, so mine, okay, I spend most of my life at church, so mine is church centered. And I think I've shared this with close friends, but there was a time where I began to be active in the church, and I always found myself on stage at one point. And instead of understanding that, okay, what I'm doing is for God, after I would finish opening prayer or worship, I would run to my siblings and be like, how did I do? How did I sound? Wait, did it sound good? And it's like I'm seeking validation from people, but it was ultimately meant for
God. Yep.
And so I saw it got to a point where I realized that not like first of all they were getting annoyed.
Yeah.
It was like so
course.
constant. But then it was like, do you truly understand what you're doing? Why are you seeking validation from people for something that is meant for God?
Yeah.
So I guess that was a moment where I saw validation getting out of hand in my life, and I had to correct that.
I can relate with that. And I think most of y'all can relate with that. I know Stephanie, when you post a picture, someone posted a picture of Stephanie, I think on one of the social media platforms. You were singing somewhere or you were backing somewhere and you're like, why did I put this picture out there? Oh my God. You remember that picture? I think it was Brooklyn, right?
No, because there's a story behind that. I didn't approve the picture being posted on there. It's different.
That's different.
Yeah. But definitely, I feel like social media. I mean, from my own perspective, I think social media does come to play when it comes to seeking the validation. Because I remember there was this one time when I was on social media where I posted a picture and immediately I called my friend like, "Oh, what do you think?" Blah blah blah. And then she was like, "Stephanie, like, this is your account, this is your page, this is your content. Like, validate what you have put, validate what you have posted and be confident in that. Like it shouldn't matter what anyone else says. Like when you post something, this is you. This is you. Essentially what you're posting. You shouldn't matter. It's not Stephanie and Friends page. Is just yours. So yeah, that's my own experience with that. But no.
I think we need to talk about it. Social media, it's a conversation, and it's something that people from all walks of life have dealt with. Personally, with social media, I have been in there. I have been in that instance where also like I would take a picture. I knew it was nice, but then I'll just send it to my friends. Like, what do you guys think? Which is the best one? And it's just like all that time spent trying to pick the best picture for social media for these people that don't even know you that's gonna look at the picture. And so it's like at the time, like when I was doing it, it's just like I didn't think much of it. But now that I've slowed like my intake on social media, I'm able to see, oh, why were we doing all these things? Like, why were we asking our friends? Was do we look nice? Was the angle cool? Was the filter nice? Like all of these things, the lighting good.
Do you know it's not even just the picture? It'll get to the point where, okay, is the picture nice? Okay, what about the caption? And that,
Oh my God, that is a full-time job now.
no, yeah.
It's the comments, because if it's not as much as your last post, it's like, oh shoot, I didn't do as much.
How many fire emojis did you get?
Let me tell you guys something. And also it came to a point for me on social media where like when people would like send emojis or hearts or like my picture, I felt overwhelmed at some point. And it came to a point where I was just muting. I would post a picture, but then I'll mute the comments. So
Wait.
you would see the
Hold
picture,
on. Hold.
but
You
wouldn't
were
be-
saying you post it,
Yes.
but you get a lot of comments.
I said the comments would overwhelm me. So
So,
what I would do
Well,
was-
give me an example of what is overwhelming, because right now
No,
I'm
it
like,
could-
girl,
it could be-
okay.
It's just all of it. The emojis, the hearts, the units.
You are not feeling the love?
I feel the love, but it's overwhelming.
Not for me. I want that
It's
approval.
overwhelming.
What that
It's
validation?
overwhelming. And I think when it comes to social media, you have to be very careful of these things. It's not something that's supposed to be so highly curated. It's just supposed to be a reflection of your life if you choose to share that. But you are not some like exhibit for others to watch. You're living your life as you go, and if you choose to share that with others, so be it. But it shouldn't be something that you are taking an hour or two out of your day to think and strategically post this picture for who, for what. So it's something that I've seen in myself that I've done before, but I believe I've been able to grow and mature when it comes to things like social media. So I'll
But
say that.
okay, Steph.
I wanted to add something on social media. I don't know if you all remember the time where the social media games were like really, really active. So there was times where we would be posting send me your first impressions of me, or like what do you think of me, and then or like yeah, those types of games. And I don't think we realized it, but we're inviting unnecessary opinions or what people
True.
thought of us. I don't like.
Ooh,
for
I,
what? And we
I
would
just
spend
remember that
hours-
story. Ooh.
You have a story? Share.
Oh, I think it's somebody's story. Somebody's story. Somebody's story. If I say, they will know. But I mean, I don't think they will mind me sharing it. But anyways, yeah.
No, but yeah, it's just like social media really plays into all of that. Like why we were doing that, only God knows why. And we didn't realize it, but we're seeking something from people. I don't know. I won't say I got offended by them. I would just read them and be like, okay, someone thinks of me that way. But I feel like somebody who maybe suffers with like insecurity or, is self-confidence, they don't have the self-confidence, that would bother someone like that. But
They don't
as
get
to why
what
we
they're looking
entertained
for.
it, yeah. But as to why we entertained it, Charlie, I don't know why.
Well, this world. Do you think it's rooted in pride? Do you think pride has some form of way of sneaking into this validation thing?
You mean pride in terms of the person that is seeking a validation being
Yeah.
prideful?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of an insecurity thing than a pride thing.
Because some people will be like, yeah, I'll post this, and then everybody's gonna be.
Like-
I mean, I get it. I think I get the
I
insecurity.
think in reference to like posting pictures and trying to get like a certain number of likes or comments, maybe that could be tied into a pride thing. But going back to the back in the days when we used to do like for a like, or what's your
there was
first
a thing like that?
impression? Yeah. Like for to be honest, what's your first impression of me, or etc.
When was this?
This was like early Instagram. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I've been in the cave for a long time. Wow. So talking about this, right? And does it change how you carry yourself? Because nowadays social media is where, people meet people find their husbands and find their wives. So how, having that kind of thoughts in your head, how do you carry yourself and not lose the person that you are, and not having a measure, a metric of who you are really? That, let's say if the person comes, and because I feel like it's now skewed, if a genuine guy or a genuine lady comes and they're saying something, appreciating you or validating or approving something, or liking you or whatever, you probably tune that out, that you would miss that opportunity. I'm not saying necessarily that is the case all the time, but is there a case where there might be numbness to the way you appreciate, you know?
I personally feel like, as a person, if you find yourself in that case where you feel like, or if God allows you to see that you are seeking validation through social media and stuff, maybe taking a little break from social media would be the best thing, so that you are not only seeking validation from comments or likes or anything of that sort.
Mm.
Because essentially, it's not even you're not even presenting yourself. You're presenting what your insecurity is, which is trying to see who is validating you in the long run. So it's not even like your personality is being upfront. It's more so like, oh, do you like me? Because I'm not even sure of myself, you know. And even when you present that, it's like, does that person, so to say, that is seeing you, would they even be interested if they are able to see right through you that, okay, this person's clearly doing this because they want the approval of others? Or even when you have a conversation with the person outside of social media, let's say that even goes that far, when they even discover that, hey, this girl, all she's doing is
It's cap,
yeah,
camouflage.
yeah. So it's like you even lose the potential relationship that could have blossomed into something, because this whole time you're not even presenting your actual self. You know?
I've heard that. Oh, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, one thing I want to add, just to also state this, social media has its faults, and if you're not too careful, you can fall into the trap of it. By the same token, social media is powerful when used correctly, also when used with intention. And so if you have decided to be on social media, you have to be someone who understands the platform and then also have discernment. You have to understand, what is the type of person I personally am I going to present when I'm online. And perhaps you may be presenting yourself in terms on behalf of your business, or on behalf of an initiative that you might have, or maybe you have the page just for fun. I know people that use social media to spread the gospel, and that's what they have decided to do. That's what they have decided to present. So in that way, it can be very positive and impactful. But I would say that whatever you decide to post on social media, as Christians, I know there are Christians who are going to be listening to this. Pray for discernment, ask for discernment, and then also use wisdom in what you post. Be careful of the doors that you open in terms of access and people having the ability to comment this and this and that. So there is the ability to create boundaries and structures if you choose to do so. If you don't, then you can open up a door that can potentially damage your image and what people know of you to be.
Mm. So why then have social media? Yeah, I have an issue. I mean, that's a good point. And when I was on, I'll be like, why do you have social media and it's private? But as I say, they don't have it. Why you?
You're being
Anyways.
social with the people you want to be social with.
Just for your friends.
So I have, because while Eunice was talking, I was in my head, I just feel like it's your social media, 1st of all. So you can choose your audience. You can choose those who will view your way, those that you feel like will build you up. You can have those people.
Very
so
true.
I mean, personally, me putting my account on private, one gives me access to the ability to control who follows me, who sees what my audience.
So basically, your account is like your home. You
It's your
decide.
own. I think Stephanie was saying her friend told her it's your social media account. Yeah. You have that control.
Have that so that you don't get swooped into the
Yeah.
validation.
Yeah, I feel like everyone feels like you have to open it up to everybody, and then I just feel like that's an avenue for opinions and way. Yeah.
So that it's gonna mess you up.
Now, when you see like people on social media who can possibly influence you,
Mhm.
if you're someone that is not confident in yourself, you'll be chasing any person that's posting something like, "Oh, I gotta be like this person because they went to Greece, they did this, blah blah blah."
Santorini.
Like
telling
that's
you.
just what it is. Unnecessary pressure.
And it's like, what if I just
Eish. It looks like y'all be getting the pressure nowadays, huh?
We don't fall into it, but I mean that's just the reality. Some people definitely fall into that.
Yeah. Okay. So bringing it back to like seeking those values. I have this question I've always meant to ask you, y'all ladies. So y'all probably can give me the real and legit answer to this. Ladies dress up, layers. What is the first thing? Wipe, wipe, right? You wipe the face, and then they'll do, and then they'll do pounds, and then they'll do foundation, and then they'll do this one. By the time they finish, they've built a house on their face, which is beautiful, which is nice, right? But the moment their significant other or somebody doesn't appreciate how good you're looking, then it's like a war. Don't tell me that is not true. But then when we're like, oh, you don't have to do this for this person, y'all gonna say, well, we didn't do it for you. I did it for me. I know I did it for me is a good statement for this, right? That is what you should say. But how true is that? Do you guys legit look good for yourself or look good for clout?
We obviously look good for ourselves, but it's nice to receive a compliment. Is that wrong?
Yes, it is. What?
Explain your stance on why it's wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a personal.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
Something
It's,
personal.
it's not. It's nothing personal.
So then,
It's nothing personal. It's an observation, right? And that's the point. The point is, if I do not realize or I do not see it, right, or I do not acknowledge it, then it looks like I've become this unappreciative. Thank you. And that is honestly that's a theme, you know. And sometimes my aunties, sometimes they be making this eyebrow, and the eyebrow is like African map, and and I'm like, okay. I mean, you can say anything. You can say auntie, yeah, fool, but you know that
It wasn't the truth.
is that exactly. See, so that's the reasoning behind the, you know.
So is your question?
I'm asking you why.
No, I'm trying to just clear up. So are you saying
Uh-huh.
that for those that present themselves a certain way on social media, why do they do that?
Yeah. So not really. It's not even social media.
Okay.
It's, let's say, church, whatever. Life.
Okay. So
right?
why do people like or women specifically?
This is women specifically.
Okay.
Are you saying? Are you asking it in regards to somebody that you're dating, or
Anybody.
women
sister.
in general?
Church, women in general.
Them wanting
Asking about
validation.
makeup or what?
Yeah, makeup, everything. The way you beautify yourself,
Mm-hmm.
all
So
that.
What's the
because
issue?
because you're gonna have an hour or two, and he didn't even say you look beautiful.
I mean,
But then you go and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, relationship. Let's say relationship.
I'll say something.
Please give her this mic.
I think when in regards to relationship, it's technical, you know. I think sometimes when you're, especially if you're saying like, "Hey, let's go on a date," blah blah, and I'm dressing up, doing makeup because you asked me to go out, and you don't say anything. Hey,
Hey, please.
hey, yeah, that one you'll hear me, yeah. Yeah, that one I'll comment on. Like, why didn't you say anything? You asked me to come out. I did the work and did myself.
You
You didn't
just
say
made up my
nothing.
points. I'm glad you did.
Ah,
so I think it depends on the person you're asking this question. In both states, whether
Wait, asking this question as me asking this question right now, or
I think we may like each of us based on our personality, character, and experience will have different responses to this question you've asked. So I think based on what you said, first of all, whether a woman is wearing makeup or no makeup in both states, she's beautiful.
yeah.
That's something I want to establish. And if you are in the context of relationship,
This is a church
in the
platform.
context of in the context of relationship, this is something that the woman and also her partner, the man, should be able to recognize and establish. And then I want us to go to the five love languages. So in the five love languages, there's something called the words of affirmation. There are people who, when you look nice, you just be put in effort, because it's not just about you, me, myself as a single person. It's also, you've asked me on a date, we're going out. It's for the benefit of both of us. So if I look nice,
Wait.
let me finish. Let me
I don't-
finish, please.
Okay, somebody please mark this down.
Okay,
I don't
so-
forget.
Yeah, okay. I think you should buy a notebook.
For the both of
But,
us. Okay,
yeah,
somebody
it's
remind me
for the both of us.
Okay.
So me putting effort is not just about myself, because I care about you as well and what we're putting into this relationship. I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm not going to disrespect the invitation by like not looking nice, right? So we're going out, because also, I like you, I respect you. I'm going to put in my best foot forward, not just for myself, but also for you. And so if a woman whose first love language is words of affirmation, when she hears that, like, she'll just bloom, like, oh, he noticed. And same for the guy. I know guys where, like, they get that haircut, get the new fade, they have their cologne.
I don't understand
And then-
what you're talking. Look at
Oh,
me.
you understand.
I don't even
I
know
know you
what
understand. Yo, I've told guys, yo, that haircut, you look good. I see their face lights up, because they want, like, for them, words
That's
of
a good,
affirmation.
that's a good
and
affirmation.
something
Guys
like
usually
that.
don't get that. That's
So-
all right.
So it's not even like it's a woman thing trying to present herself to, I don't know, for the purposes of a man. But in the context of a relationship, it's not just about her. It's also about her partner, you.
And here, I'll even add on to that point. My husband's like not here with me, right? But when I go to events now, or when I go to even church, the way I dress up, right? I know he's not there to even be like, oh, you look nice or something. But I dress up knowing that I'm somebody's wife now, right? So when I even go out and someone's like, you look really nice, I'm like, oh, like I'm presenting my husband. I feel like I've presented him well in a way. I hope that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
get
he
it.
doesn't have to be there to give me that validation. Yeah.
But then you still got it though. But I mean, I think in this it's still good. I think it's 100% good that we hear these things, right? These things are afforded both the male and the female species, right? But the crux of the matter in this instance, not saying, I think this is one of the places where validation is good, right? But when um, it's like you're not seeking it, but you're seeking it. It's subtle. You don't really want us to say it, but then if we don't give it, you're like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not clear. Oh, words of affirmation, I think is different, good, because you know that that's your wife's love language, right? Or your husband's love language. So any avenue that you can get to give them that, you do. And that is when they, throw it down good, whatever. And then you compliment them or, give them that acknowledgement. But here's the case that, let's say, people who are not married, let's say people who are not married, friends and all that. And then, you see them at a party, whatever, and then like, oh, friends. I've had friends that have said that. You didn't even acknowledge me, you didn't say, yeah, I've seen it. I can mention names.
Okay,
I shouldn't mention names.
I'll mention
I'll mention them.
Go ahead.
But you get the point, right? And I think there should be communicate. I think there should be communication there, and I think that part of validation should be accepting. Like there should be an acceptance that you're dressing up and in a modest way, and you want people to acknowledge you. I think there's a fine line between that and then the social media insecurities, right? And also people seeing that, okay, this person has this kind of life. And then it also, how do you say, motivates other people to also do the same. take on a good behavior or.
But I think it that in the terms in which you're saying, it's more so of a communication problem with someone, because I've dealt with people where it's like, yes, they'll dress up, yes, they'll do all of these things, but even the people around them, as great as this person may present themselves or dress or whatever, the people around them won't even acknowledge or say anything. And one thing my mom makes or instilled in me is that whenever you see someone looks presentable or something that you actually admire, say that, acknowledge it, so that you encourage them that whatever they're doing to keep going, and not bear these thoughts only in your head. Because whether it's your first love language or not, somebody would want to hear
True.
you compliment
100.
them. So I think it's not good for on any both male or female, that it's not good for you to hold back something that especially if it's like one of their good qualities, like, yes, this person presents themselves, speaks very well, or their attitude, their personality is admirable. Like, why should you hold that in if that's how you really feel about the person? And I think it's more so of the person on the giving end. Why do you have a problem with not acknowledging somebody in that light? But that's not what we're talking about, right?
Okay.
Are we saying we should compliment people? Is
Yeah,
that what
it's
you're
good to
saying?
compliment. Yeah.
But I feel like we also shouldn't depend on that as well as people. If you look nice, you look nice.
Some people don't see it too, but I get it.
Yeah, and that goes back to the first point of it being an insecurity thing. Because if you know you look nice and you look good and you smell nice and nobody says anything, you putting your best foot forward that day.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Most of them are always fearful. They are not wonderful.
No, but it gets bad to the extent where you'll see someone repeat another outfit because people didn't see it. But you look nice.
Oh,
You look nice that day. So yeah.
what? Wait. Is that a thing?
Yes.
You repeat it because people.
No one, the right people didn't see it.
Wow, I didn't know that at all.
Let me add something to it. One thing as Stephanie was speaking, one thing that came to my mind as she was speaking was the statement that I learned when I was in middle school. So I had an English teacher, and they were using this article to teach, and in that article was talking about always going to the funeral of those that had passed. But one of the things that was highlighted in the article was that it was something about acknowledgement. And the author says something along the lines of, even a dog acknowledges someone who has passed. So even if an animal could acknowledge that human that has passed by, how much more so than another human to another human. So always acknowledge people whenever you get the opportunity to do so. And one thing that I also like to really hone down in this conversation, more related to what Grace had said about the insecurity thing. As Christians, you have to understand who your source is. You will never get true contentment through validation or being complete through the eyes of another man or another woman. Our mothers, our fathers, our best friends, our sisters or brothers, whoever is in relationship with us, they can't complete us and they can't truly validate us like God can. And so if your source of validation is entirely dependent on another man, another individual, you're going to crumble because that weight that you have put on another human is going to fail you. They're
Yeah,
gonna fail
the Bible
you.
even says that
Bible even
woe
says it.
is the one who
Yeah.
puts his trust in
Yes,
man.
that's true. And so if we have been created in the image of God, and Bible says this, then whose image then do we want to look up to when it comes to us being complete and us being fully validated? So for those that are listening, like, only God can complete you. Only God can truly validate you. And that has to come first before you even get into relationship and before you even do life with others, because that thing will creep up, not just in a romantic relationship, but it will creep up with your friendships. It'll creep up with your brothers, and your sisters. It'll creep up. So if you're dealing with that insecurity, you have to come to a point where you then acknowledge it. you look at yourself and you reflect. Okay, I see that this thing is in me and it eats me up. I can't even look in the mirror or go out and about my day without hearing the compliment of this man. And I'm putting so much pressure on this man or this woman
Talk about it.
to validate me, and the relationship is even crumbling. And if it's not crumbling, I'm gonna tell you now, it's gonna crumble, because as humans, we can't take that pressure.
Yeah.
I can't complete you. I can't validate every single second. Imagine someone coming every day. Oh, how about this? How about this? Was it nice? Was it nice? Or bother you at some point. It's too much. It's too much.
You lose a lot of confidence. Yeah. And I think that is very important. It's good that you get acknowledged, but don't put your faith in it. Don't expect it. And I think that will be a good recipe for all of us. Let's switch to doing what everybody is doing. Because clout chasing. This person did this, so everybody's doing it. It has become a trend. I think trending has made folks not find themselves and always doing what is trending, because this person did this and got 100K. All right, now everybody's a mua because somebody y'all. Those who don't know what mua is, my boys, mua is makeup artist. Okay, MUA is okay. I'm from Kumasi. It's no mua.
Not Mua.
Oh, I'm sorry, my listeners.
No shit.
But what you guys have to say that even ministers of God, I saw a video, and there was this guy who was making fun of the pastors. Basically, like after church, they'll get out of the church and they're like, "Today it was great, and the power of God was here," and they're basically walking out of the sanctuary, and then they'll hit their car, and literally every pastor does it now. I think Pastor Mike started it.
Oh gosh.
Mike Todd started it. I think he was doing a lot of stuff. So I think a lot of people also started doing it. But that's what I've seen. People following the trend. Well, how does that affect the person, the quality of the person that we are, or staying true to who you are and not following the crowd?
I can start. I feel like in terms of trend following, like I said before, pros and cons. But I also believe that it does not allow God to really download what He has for you in your life, like the plans or the ideas that He has for you. God is the source of everything, every idea. Not every idea, but if you want that idea, that business plans, etc., He can give you that. Yes. So I personally believe that following trends, we miss out on that ability for God to move in that way, and give us that unique plan or align us to the plans and His will for our lives. Yeah.
I think I kind of disagree with what you're saying, only with the part that God doesn't give you all ideas. Even if you think God doesn't give you all the ideas, He literally gears you or directs you to what you may not even have realized. But just to comment on the trends thing, one pastor, it was our own pastor, was saying that trends surely end. That's why it's end. That's why it's a trend.
Oh,
yeah.
And
But I think you lose your personality in that, because if it's not something that you personally like, oh, this, I've never even thought to do that, or if it wasn't your original idea, then it's like you lose yourself in the making of all of that. And as I mentioned before, when that trend truly ends, is like, what was the benefit?
Yeah.
Then you'll even look back like, dang, I was really stupid for following that, or I was really dumb. That wasn't a move that could have glorified God or even showed my personality in what I'm doing. So it's very tricky to follow trends. So do it at your own risk,
At your own risk.
Yeah.
But in regards to God giving us plans, there are some plans that is not from God. Like, not in terms of a Christian standpoint. Yeah, or it was your own will, or, the enemy has his way in regards to, like, life. Like, when we even look at the music industry, we can't say that that's God. That's what I mean in terms of, like, God gives us some of our ideas, not in a Christian standpoint, but just in life, like especially some of these trends that are out there. Not all of them are from God. Even when you see many Christian TikTokers doing some of the worldly trends, it's not of God. Not every single one, but some of them are not.
Yeah.
God. We can't say that that's God.
Yeah.
So
Obviously, yeah.
in regards to that.
Thanks for clearing it up with the rebuttal.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to add was if we're not careful, we're going to lose unique individuals. We're going to lose, like, everybody will be the same way where, I mean, before, I think it was more common to hear, oh my goodness, so-and-so is unique. Like, they're so special, they're different. Now you hear, like, maybe they're weird because they're not doing what
Everybody's
else
doing.
is
True.
doing. And so if we're not careful, you follow the trend in what people wear, in what makeup look to do, in what, what profession is even lit at this time. Everybody's going into tech, so let me follow that trend and go. Maybe that's not what God called you to even do. Even where to live and all of
Everybody doing nursing because your parents.
that. But they're not ready for that.
Hey, I'm a nurse, okay? They told me to do it, and I like it.
No, but if we're not careful, we're going to lose unique individuals. Like, be true to yourself. Be true to who God has called you to be. You don't have to follow a trend in everything. Yes, maybe some things may be nice. It may fit you. But make sure it's your own decision. Make sure it's your own something that you desire to do, not because everybody else was doing it. And I really pray that we don't lose unique individuals, because the world will become very boring at that point. We'll be looking at the same individuals. Nobody's doing anything special, different.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Stephanie is right. I want to bring up this Bible verse from Jeremiah, the infamous verse from Jeremiah 29, verse 11. And it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And notice in this verse it says you. So it's talking to a
Specific
individual.
Yeah.
It does not say I have these plans for this. Yeah, all of this whole world. This is talking to
Everybody has your own
person. And so we all can't be the same, as Stephanie was saying. We all need to God has created each and every one of us to be unique. So if we go against that fold or what God has structured, we won't be able to fulfill our true purpose. And one thing I'll also like to add is that we have to be very careful about just moving with the flow or doing something because it looks good. And something can be good in its like full sense, but not be good for you. So example, I was actually using this example as I was talking to a few friends. It seems like whenever somebody has the hand of God upon their lives, or they have a call, oh, you should become pastor. Oh, you should become this. You should be that. And for the woman, at least in the COP context, oh, first lady. How is that even going to happen? Is that what God said? Let's think about it. Is that what God said? And we have to be very careful about not following what looks good, but what is actually for us. And so, for instance, men of God use this example, and I thought was such a beautiful way to explain purpose. We have people like Hannah the prophetess, who was what? She was praying, and she was paving the way for Jesus. But Hannah the prophetess, if you were to put her...
Is it Anna?
Anna,
Yeah.
excuse me, Anna.
Hey,
You just scared
me. Hey.
Thank you for correcting me. But if you were to take Anna and you would have said, Anna, I'm going to send you to the palace, Anna may not have fulfilled her purpose there. But if you would take someone like Esther, who was sent to the palace for a specific reason, to save her people, and you had said, oh, no, Esther, as for you, we want you to be prayer warrior and pray for your people. These strategies are not bad in itself.
Well, Esther prayed though, right?
She did pray.
She was a queen, yeah.
But where was she sent? She was sent to the palace.
Yeah.
Where was Anna sent? She was sent to the temple. What was Joseph sent? He was sent to Egypt, and to do what? And so we all have different purposes and different plans, right? And so these plans in itself, they're not bad. They're good. They look good. But if you were to follow a plan or a path that was not destined for you, you will crash and you will fail. And then you'll look around like, why are these things not working? God, I feel like you have a call in my life. I love the things of God. So I dropped everything to become a pastor. But he didn't call you to be a pastor. He called you to maybe to go to the UN because he needed you to create some economic forum that would change the world.
Or to be a wife.
Look at Joseph. I'm going to go back. So don't play. I'm not here trying to make a point. He's playing games. But let me land my plan. Joseph.
Like peas.
Joseph. I'm
Pressure.
going to use this last example. Joseph. He wasn't a preacher. He wasn't an evangelist. He was what? He was an economist. He was second in the land after Pharaoh. And being positioned and working with God, he was able to what? Save his people. And so it's very important to not just go with the flow or to just follow people because that plan for them looked nice. You have to listen. You have to listen for the word of God upon your life. And if you don't hear it, what do you do then? We pray. We pray about season. You don't pray and you're, I'm tired, so let me stop. You pray until God answers. So if you don't know what God has said concerning your life, you pray, you ask, you seek until that answer comes. Don't go with your feelings, because I'm going to tell you, your feelings are going to disappoint you.
Ooh, I just
So let me
finished
end
talking
here.
with a friend, and he said, we're just coming driving, and he called me, and he was, bro, feelings, bro, if I follow my feelings, I'm like, I was thinking in my head, has this guy followed his feelings to go and do something? And we're talking about it. All he was talking about feelings. If you follow akono, feelings. And now, that is basically what you said. How you feel in that moment when somebody, or you got all that hype, or you didn't get all that hype, when maybe he didn't call you back, all that, the things that maybe you were trying to do to please your parents and they didn't acknowledge you. And, you were doing all these things not in perspective of what God has for you. Your approval you were seeking approval through the approval of other people. In the sense that what somebody did that they got approved or they got their quote unquote acknowledgement, you're like, okay, I guess this is what he's doing and everybody's liking him. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Meanwhile, that is not what you've been earmarked. So this leads to another conversation that we'll talk about. I think when we talked about in the mind of the instrumentalist, we spoke about a lot of things, acknowledgement, like, leadership and stuff. Where do you see service in the house of God and doing it without seeking, I guess, approval of, what you've done? Some people, you get a point.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we did this and then they didn't do us anything,
Mm-hmm. But I think with that, like finding your your niche as far as servitude, for you to not seek any man's approval, that's how you truly know you're serving God. Because if you're doing it, oh, elder, what do you think? Oh, pastor, did you see I swept here? That's not your ministry.
Some people even don't ask. And
Yeah.
they harbor it in there. And, some places they're like, at the end of the year, they'll give you maybe some. But if they don't,
Mm-hmm.
you're like,
I feel like you don't understand your purpose. then.
Exactly.
Like simple.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because when you basically ask for man's approval, you're not doing it for God. You're doing this for that pat on the back or that. Oh, and this is a true story. I've heard a story true story. Let me first say that again, where someone was serving in the house of God solely for a title, and the moment when that time of the year came and they didn't call her, when I tell you she dropped the broom, and at that moment, yeah, dropped the broom.
Not the broom.
Oh yeah, and that was it. So it's like, were you doing this for God? That did God call you to do this to serve, or were you really doing it for not only the recognition, but to be, in like you said earlier, prideful in that sense?
Nice.
But I also believe that validation, like I said, pros and cons. The pros of validation could also help you know if what you're doing it right. Like, for example, is sweeping, since we're talking about the broom. In regards to like sweeping, maybe you swept and you missed the corner, but you asked one of the deacons, like, yo, like, I was the floor. And the deacon said, oh,
Grace, do you sweep at church?
Right.
No, but like in regards to validation, like I'll even speak for myself, like with doing like prayers and stuff, like opening prayer. And I'm not asking every week for validation, but I may ask somebody that I respect their input.
So you're asking for discipleship.
Yeah, say that.
But that's more
Not
so
discipleship, but not validation. But
no,
more
I feel like that's more like
feedback.
confirmation.
But that's not validation.
No. Feedback. You're asking for feedback.
Okay, feedback.
I think also that's confirmation. I don't think that's validation, because obviously you want somebody to confirm that what you're doing is right.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah, how can you improve?
Yeah.
But you guys are talking about validation in regards to like
you know you've done the right thing.
yeah.
It's not like you're doing nothing wrong. Like you were the top of
did the thing.
You sweep the corners. You sweep the middle. Not like the waitress that they miss the middle. But yeah.
One thing I will say is that in leadership, not just even in the context of the church, but in leadership, wherever you find yourself to be, don't take people for granted. So I think there is a line where if you have people under you and you're leading them, you find ways to also uplift them. And it's not that you are spoiling them with compliments, but you are giving them praise for what they are doing onto the house of the Lord. And so as a leader, use discernment as to how you deliver that praise or that encouragement, because even in the Bible, we see instances where, there was praise where Jesus uplifted people, encouraged people. And so if we see that in how Jesus led, we can also bring some of those elements to the people that may be serving the church. So I think that there is a line where you can encourage people, praise the people that have decided to, give their time onto the house of God, because it's a dangerous place to get to, a place where you take man for granted. God says he gave gifts to men. So and these gifts were men. So he gave men unto men. And so this is something that you don't take lightly. In the same token, as a leader, use discernment and use wisdom. You have to make sure that you have not built a body where they are reliant on your praise or your feedback to be efficient and work. So I think it's just really navigating these lines as a leader in the church, at least.
Nice. This has been very, very, intriguing, very informative, encouraging and all. And this is the YP podcast. We are almost at the hour mark. We are trying not to get over the hour mark, so we're gonna let our wonderful ladies say 2 seconds what y'all got to say. 2 seconds.
I don't have anything to say pertaining to this topic, but one thing we didn't hit with this validation topic was a huge one in our society, which we've kind of overlooked, which is weddings.
Ooh. Nice.
Hey, let's talk about it. We're talking
Talk
about
about
it.
Another one.
No.
that's
I
a
mean, we can
whole
touch on it.
separate
We can touch on it
conversation.
and then have another conversation with this.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, we're talking about it.
Validation. So you see someone's wedding.
We are literally watching a wedding.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you pushed it off.
Oh no.
See, no, just the whole trend. So we're talking about trends.
Yeah.
It falls under it.
Wedding. Who has the
Ooh.
most comments? Who has the most views?
Mm.
Falls under
Okay,
it.
someone wore this.
We
dress,
have 5
you
minutes
wear
for this. Let's do it.
I'm just saying that's no. I feel like that's a whole.
It's a whole topic. A whole.
Well, are you guys ready for that though? Because it's you that are gonna. That's what I'm gonna say.
I honestly,
No, on that whole. I'm just saying on validation.
Yeah.
Something big in our society.
But I'm saying how exactly it is. It is there. It is true. It is there, and we know that it is there. But for some reason, y'all think y'all can never do without it.
I feel like it's
Who's
been
y'all?
accepted that everyone has to top the next person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, some of these things can be generalized to a specific set of people, but not everybody falls under this category.
Oh yeah,
Like,
sure.
personally, I said 50 people at my wedding.
It's unrealistic.
I said 100. I said 100 people.
Really?
I said 50.
Really?
I really
And
You're
and
delusional.
I also said and I also said no white wedding.
Oh yeah.
No white wedding.
I know the list. I see. I know what we're gonna do in the morning. We're gonna chimbo fruits.
So and I met people, as Stephanie was saying, I think this is a longer conversation and we can tie it into,
But that is a thing.
other
so-
aspects of maybe church and marriage. But I will say this, I've met people that have had very simple weddings and did not spend much. But then I have seen others. I even know someone who's planning her wedding right now. And I know this lady is in debt. I know she just recently graduated. And she's spending like I think somewhere around 85 grand.
Holy moly!
For what?
On her wedding.
Does she have
Event
student
in-
loans? Does she have student loans?
She says she has student loans.
Okay.
She's already in debt.
And me, I'm just, and me,
She's,
And me-
she's in debt more than the U.S. government.
I'm just like, like what happens how about life after the marriage? This is just one day.
Okay,
So
so
let me end here because I know it's a
It's
conversation.
another conversation.
no, it's not another conversation.
Another
When we talk,
conversation.
listen, when we're talking about it, right, it will not fall under the topic of validation.
does.
It will talk and it will
It's a component to
it
it.
will come. Yeah, it will do though, but it will come to like the preparatory stages, why they need this and that. Preparing for it. We're gonna plan for that.
I think we can just categorize this as a form of validation that has
Exactly.
been accepted.
Exactly.
period.
That is wrong too. But how are you not going to do that knowing that, let's say you say 50 people, right? You can look in your thing, right? So one of my friends got married last year, right? And he was like, oh, some people will be Zoom. And we were talking on the phone, and he was like, yeah, like jokingly, to Zoom. I'm like, hey, Jack Killer, don't even try that.
You're
Don't
gonna be in
try-
person.
I'm coming in person. And,
So you're the issue.
I'm the issue. Exactly. That's my point. So, the person is trying, I know the person was trying to be like, throw the, option of, you can watch online. We would like to have you here, but we are trying to, but,
Minimize, yeah.
but I'm like, bro, if you don't get me there, I'm still coming. You see, and that is what people do. So how, because you're like, you want the approval, you don't want to be in with the bad blood with it.
Here's the solution: court wedding.
Will your parents allow court wedding?
And listen, this is a solution for those that are, money is tight. I didn't say it was a solution for me. But court wedding is there.
Okay. I like it. The pressure is getting. Hey, all of you have stopped talking because you know that you people are going to break the bank. Eh?
No.
Never said anything.
Never said a thing. Boundaries.
Boundaries, huh? Yeah. But it's a sure thing, and I hope we learn a thing or two. We are not farmers, but we know a thing or two. But thank you, ladies, for spending your evening with us. We appreciate you. Thank you once again for joining us and listening to the YP podcast. This is your man, MC Otto Berima. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, give us all the stars, and let us know what you think. God bless you.